you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Good to be back. You feeling good?
Had a nice lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice little break there.
We didn't
Enjoy
want to eat on the Italian Food Network.
Yeah. Our personal Italian food
Yeah,
network.
people
I like to
complained.
all about. Yeah, no.
You're chewing the microphone. You're doing this.
Some people liked it. I think one guy quoted, he hears us talk and he feels like he needs to get a coffee and a Danish and hang out with us.
Really?
He says it's just like watching two guys shoot the
It's
what we do. It's who we are.
So I guess I don't know what the hell's behind me today.
Yeah, well,
but
we got two more scary characters join us here in the studio.
What is who?
The clown is somebody I'm not sure of, but somebody's going to go, what a bunch of clowns. Never mind.
Put a clown show?
Yeah. Not a gun show here. We are a clown
who's
show.
Behind the clown?
That is Chucky's girlfriend or wife or something, the whole Chucky thing we had the other day with Ted. Yeah, that's his girlfriend, allegedly. I'll say allegedly because that's what I know
some
of.
Domestic violence going on.
Yeah, you think? It'd be a knife duel.
Speaking of domestic violence.
Yes.
I got to say, I never raised my hands to a woman.
I think that's the way you were brought up. That's an unwritten law. You do that, you're not the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, I had girls obviously try to swing at me or, try to whatever, but I just held their hands so they wouldn't hit me,
Yeah, that whole mental thing there that, guys hitting girls, that's a bit of a mess. I don't get the thrill behind it or the necessity behind it.
You never know what the situation is. They could egg you on,
It could take years to get to that level. Who knows? You never know.
It's one thing. I've never been involved in a domestic violence issue, especially too, when you got daughters.
You think differently about stuff like that.
It's somebody's mom, it's somebody's daughter, it's somebody's sister. Going through the neighborhood, there's a family I want to touch on.
Good.
The Diacos.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of Al Diaco?
Al Diaco, yeah.
I mentioned him in another episode
briefly.
We
did talk about him a little bit, yeah.
He grew up with one of his sons. And the Diaco family, I got to say the truth, they stood together. They, a lot of families, you get brothers and sisters that don't get along or they fight or whatever.
I get that.
I'm sure they fought amongst each other, but they pretty much were like a tight-knit family. They stood together. The father had that restaurant, La Donna Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, his food was the best. He's going to put Mulberry Street out of business, But they did have a place on the west side. Well, not exactly on the west side, but towards the west side of town, called Pasquale and Wong's. And I got to say, he's ahead of his time because if you did that today, Pasquale and Wong's, I would go to that place.
No kidding.
Right? Take the best, most popular Italian dishes, take the most popular Cantonese, Chinese dishes, and put a New York spin on it. I think it would go big.
Well, think about it. If you look at Italians and New Yorkers in general, could be any nationality. What's the two main go-tos? It's Chinese and Italian. Yeah. Maybe not in that order. It just depends on who you are. But Chinese and Italian, that's where everybody runs to.
Yeah, you're right.
So the concept would work today. It really would.
So Al Diaco, I remember when he used to come around Prince Street. Now, mind you, I know Al all my life.
Yeah.
I know the whole family all my life, I really got nothing bad to say about them. I really don't. I see why guys say that, he changed. Acting boss, kind of, it, I don't know if it went to his head or he changed, or maybe sometimes, when you're in that position, it's hard to be, you still can't be that guy. You got to be some kind of.
You got to take the part.
Yeah.
You got to act it out. You really do.
There was another guy on Prince Street. He was a May guy. His name was Dominic Trissillo.
Mm-hmm.
We nicknamed him the Basset Hound.
Let me guess
I got a dog. Am I drinking out of a dog today?
No, you're drinking out of a cat today.
The cat cup. All right. So, looking at the cat, I think it remind me of the story about the cat house.
What cat house?
There was a cat house I used to go to. Incident happened there. Dominic Trissillo. I think he passed away. We used to call him the Basset Hound because if you see a picture of him, He looks like a basset hound. I mean, at least that's what nickname we
With the
gave him in
long,
Brooklyn.
sad face type thing?
Yeah.
You're saying?
He wanted to be called Crazy Dom. You know?
Okay.
Not only like Bones.
Yeah.
Bones Papagni. Nah, I don't like that nickname. Call me Frankie Sharp.
Guys making up their own nicknames. I don't get that. You get a nickname for a lot of different reasons, you know.
Yeah, and you pick out a nickname that's like, if somebody's called Frankie Sharp, that's, he must be a sharp guy,
Right. In a lot of ways, dressing,
Yeah.
mentally.
Should have been Frankie Dumb. So anyway,
Frankie pain in the
yeah. Dom, I tell you, watching the whole scene down on Prince Street, if Al would stop, Dom would trip over. That's how far up his ass he was.
We have an expression for that. If you stop short, you're going to have an ass full. Excuse my...
Ass full of basset hound, yeah.
Ass full of basset hound, yeah.
He acted like a basset hound, too. What are basset hounds known for?
Sniffing.
There you go. So it was a perfect name for him. He looked like a droopy look, like a hound, right? And a basset hound sniffing. So it fit perfectly, He was so far up Al's ass.
That's incredible.
It was a show.
And everybody knew, obviously.
It was a clown show.
Yeah,
Take the clown behind me, right? Bring it to the show on Prince Street. That's what it looked like.
And the basset hound will wear it.
The basset hound, right? I don't know what it was with Dom. I got along with him, but I never liked him. I'm sure he didn't like me either.
Yeah, that's funny because a lot of guys like that, sometimes they just get under your skin after a certain point. You know what I mean? You're trying to like the guy, but yet at some point he's so under your skin you want to choke him.
He eventually became the captain down there where you wanted to make him the captain. It was all through Al, But Joe Beck was always the captain down there. And if he wasn't a captain, his brother P.D. Beck, it was always a Becky crew, And these are like legendary guys. These are guys that did time. They're big junk guys. They're as real gangsters as you could get, And they've been around for decades.
They got the job done.
So Dom Trussolo, so far up Al's ass, he becomes like the main guy on Prince Street now. He's looking to be the captain. And, I think he did go on to be like an acting captain, because Joe, I think, was sick or something to that effect, Wait a minute, I take that back. They did take Joe down. They took Joe Beck down.
Wow.
And they put Dominic there, Dom Trussolo, the basset hound.
Really?
Because he was so far up Al's ass, Al's just made that change. And he went to Vic and Guess and said,
this is the change.
And well, you know what happened? Joe Beck passed away.
Yeah.
He passed and somebody had to fill in the spot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it reminded me when Joe used to dress up, right? He used to wear it could be summertime, wintertime, whatever it was. Always slacks and shirt and tie.
Really?
Summertime and the suspenders.
Really?
The old school.
Old fashioned.
Yeah. The suspenders, and then if it was summertime, you have short sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
So wintertime, you have his jacket on. Always a suit, every day. Like I said, you meet him 7 o'clock in the morning, his suit, fedora. It was cold out, top coat.
Nice.
Summertime, short sleeve shirt and a tie. Always dressed for the,
Yeah. Looking good, feeling good,
Yeah, real gangster. Dom, it went to Dom's head, obviously. Acting captain or the captain down on Prince Street.
Mm.
His cousin, he had a cousin named Sally Petro. I don't know, I might be saying it wrong. Pietro, or they call him Sally Elio. Big Sherlock in the neighborhood, and not a nice one. Very...
Didn't have to be.
Yeah. He took advantage of a lot of neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
But he deserves a whole episode on his own.
Okay.
We're gonna call it Exposing Sally Elio.
Okay.
Right? Because I think it's well deserved. Then you had Croce. Croce, I forget his real name, but we call him Croce. Croce's got to be in his 90s right now.
God bless.
He's one of the nicest ones down there.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. We used to call him whatchamacallit, because every time he would talk, as he was talking, he'd go, whatchamacall. Like at that scene in Goodfellas, get the papers.
Yep. Yeah.
He would go, whatchamacallit. Yeah.
Really?
He's a character, but nice guy. Then you had Rafi. Then you had Charlie Brody, which is Joe Beck's brother.
Right.
Then you got Johnny Brody, which is his son-in-law.
So there's always a Beck family member in this.
Joe Beck and the Beckys, mainly Joe Beck, was always a main guy, whatever administration was in place. Tony Ducks, even before Tony Ducks. He'd been around a long time, Joe Beck. Was always a main guy. When the regime was up in Harlem, because that's where it was, power was always in Harlem. Went to Brooklyn. Wherever the regime went, Joe Beck was always a main guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was always a
In
captain.
the game, Uno. Shout out to my Usos, killing bills like Uma. Balls travel from Pluto, big truck soprano, gabagool and